Hi, this is Nacho from CHOCO-MANGO TV, and today we are back with a wonderful new episode of Maalaala Mokaya. This time I'm talking about the first episode of Maalaala Mokaya that I ever saw. And actually for me, that made a huge impact because it was a new world to me, an experience. It moved me to the max. It actually moved me beyond belief. It's actually one of the finest episodes I ever watched in my life. It's a real tearjerker. I'm not afraid to cry for some stories that are actually true stories from the Philippines, and this story is heartbreaking to the max. It starts actually Mr. Piolo Pascual, and he's doing a wonderful, amazing performance of it. He plays a young teacher that is hoping for a good future for himself and his Nai, played by Susan Africa, and everything goes well until suddenly, out of nowhere, he has some kind of accidental. It's actually not a real harsh accident. It's only something like his bicycle gets hit by a coacher, but his body is surviving this without much problems. But mentally, this is causing himself to become very schizophrenic, and actually sometimes it also feels to me almost like he becomes very autistic, but that is for you to find out if that is autistic or schizophrenic. I don't know about that. We must research. Let's do a research. Before we continue into this nice movie, it would be nice if you could subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, because I want to bring you lots of other Maalaala Mokaya episodes and review them in a very good way. Back to our regular schedule now. It is MMK Piso that I want to talk about. So Piolo has now this accidental, and at first he feels okay. He is still continuing to teach, to resume his work as a teacher, and somehow it's going wrong. He has some kind of visions still of this bicicleta accident that he has when he got hit by the coacher, and it turns out he's unable to continue to teach. So there's no way for him. He must stay at home and gets cared for by his Nai. And at that same time, shortly after, his sister, played by Jodi Santamaria, is coming back. She had trouble with her asava and was coming back with her children to join the household. And at that time, the schizophrenia of Piolo, actually, sometimes he's still a very sweet guy, a very loving guy, but at the same other time, he's also a guy who becomes very unstable. Sometimes he becomes aggressive, something like that. And the next thing that we see, obviously, is some kind of moment where he is saving money and puts it into some kind of book for a reason that maybe it's needed in the future. So basically the next episode that we find is actually that his sister is actually now pregnant, and she's delivering at home her child, which has the name Patricia. So then while Patricia is successfully delivered and growing up in that household, Mel, that is actually the character that Piolo is playing, Mel is really developing some very strong relationship to that bata, to that child. He really cares deeply for that child. But at the other time, he's still experiencing unstableness. There's, for instance, an interesting incident which actually gives this episode has the name MMK Piso, the name. while he goes with one Piso out for shopping and sees some kind of toy. I think it is a rattle, something like this, that can you make some sounds when you move it. And he's really interested, he's almost childlike, interested in that toy. But in his schizophrenia, the seller gives him a price, something like, I don't know what the price is, I forgot about it, 20 Piso or so. But he only understands in his condition, he only understands Piso and gives him the only Piso that he has in his hand, which is one Piso. And basically, he wants to leave with it. He thinks he paid the right price also, or does not know the right price. He thinks everything is okay. But of course, the seller is galit and sends for his friends because he thinks it's a robbery. And therefore, he's beaten up by the friends and of the seller, basically. So in that condition, he arrives at home totally beaten up, and his Nai is really shocked to the max. And on some other day, basically something else has happened. There's an incident where he becomes so unstable that he is very aggressive to the children of his sister. And this aggressiveness actually is too much actually for his sister. His sister then thinks it's the best to leave the familia, and that actually is very heartbreaking for her. Actually, this scene when she wants to leave now because he loves the newborn Patricia, which actually is now 5 years old at the time. Patricia is now 5 years old, and he really loves her like his own daughter. And now his sister wants to leave, taking the children with him, and to see actually this kind of scene where she is actually leaving him, the scene where he wants her to stay. That is heartbreaking to the max. I have cried to the super max. Actually, excuse me, I have something in my eye right now. This is so moving. I've never watched anything like it. It is so touching to the max, this scene. But on the other hand, I forgot to tell you this that scenes before, when he was more stable, actually he was actually teaching the kids actually some important lessons. But due to the unstable some lessons, I think it was math lessons. He was a math teacher. He was really teaching them good lessons, but unfortunately it happened that his instability was too much for his sister, so they have left. So now all alone, actually it is hard for him to cope without Patricia, because he loved her so much. But then the next scene comes, and it's actually a pivotal scene. It's really an important scene, this scene. Actually, I forgot exactly the exact incident, but we just move on. As far as I know, how was it? I already forgot. No, now I got. They're coming back again. I forgot the exact reasons, but maybe you can find out. Maybe you can track down this wonderful episode, which is the best, and find out for yourself. He's coming. His sister is coming back with the children, but it turns out to be that at some time he's all alone with Patricia, the child that he cares the most for. But he sees she's seriously ill. She is totally ill. She has developed obviously some kind of fever, and even though he has his schizophrenia, his mental disease, he still knows what needs to be done. Basically, he really knows he must get her and search for help. At first, he's moving around her, holding her, and tries to search for neighbors that could help, but no neighbor, the neighbors are obviously afraid of him. Nobody wants to help. So in the end, he has only one thing to do. He needs to bring her to a hospital. And after a long journey, he's able to do it and successfully brings her to a hospital. And when later the rest of the familia, his sister and his nanai, are joining into the hospital, the doctor says that actually, if he had not done this, if Mel had not done this in time, something really serious could have happened to the fever of Patricia. So in fact, he saved her life, even though he was still under his mental condition. So basically, this is now where the movie ends, and actually it's one of the most movies I ever have seen in my life. Actually, this is so good, they should do a full movie out of this. And the performance of Mr. Piolo Pascual, oh my goodness, is he good. He's not only the best looking actor, no, he's also the best performing actor, the best moving actor. He is amazing. You should really watch this for Mr. Piolo Pascual alone. It is really heartbreaking, it is amazing. For me, it's technically the best Maalaala Mo Kaya episode ever, because it was the first that I saw and also the most powerful that I ever saw. So now we come to a close. It would be really great if you could now subscribe to me and hit the notification bell, because I want to give you more nice Maalaala Mo Kaya with Mr. Piolo Pascual, because I still have some. And let's see and meet again in some other vlog. I would love to see you again. So take care. Bye bye. We see you guys. Bye bye.